Hi, my name is Tamara Mosawani Alvarado, and I'm Chair of the Board of Trustees for the Western State Arts Federation. Thank you for joining us for WESTAF's 2022 Arts Leadership and Advocacy Seminar online. On behalf of our staff and board, welcome. Over the last few years, the arts and cultural sector have faced some incredible moments of difficulty, but from all this, something positive has emerged, and that is an impressive resurgence in arts advocacy across all levels of government, local, state, and national. And now, more than ever, it is time to continue building on that momentum. We hope that the 6 sessions over the next 2 days will bring you new energy, new ways of thinking, and leave you inspired with the promise of collective action as our sector continues to move forward. We hope you will find ways to engage in advocacy in ways that suit your community. WESTAF had our first Arts Leadership and Advocacy Seminar in 2011 as a Western delegation fly-in to Washington, D.C. I remember my first trip there to meet with members of Congress, and I couldn't have fathomed what has happened in the last decade. Advocacy was vital then, and it is vital now. This year, we are offering an online version of ALAS again as we look towards reviving our advocacy in DC. This year's program is a unique occasion to hear from arts advocates doing important work across the West, alumni from WESTAF's Leader of Color Network, and experts in the field. This year, we hope you will enjoy discussing cultural policy and learning about new directions in arts advocacy. Now is the time to think boldly as we continue our work towards recovery for the creative sector. With that, I'm going to pass the mic to Christian Gaines, WESTAF's Executive Director, to extend his welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara, and welcome to all who are attending ALAS this year. At WESTAF, we are working to advance regional and national arts advocacy, and we support these efforts by sharing with you up-to-the-minute practices and perspectives. This year, our team has worked really hard to create thought-provoking panels that bring together passionate leaders in the field of arts advocacy and beyond. For the second year in a row, WESTAF is excited to offer ALAS as a virtual experience. The virtual space has opened the door to new partnerships and provided opportunities for collaborations with colleagues across the nation, and in some related fields doing similar advocacy work. And I hope you see this reflected in several of the panels on offer over the next few days. Learning from experts, fostering cross-sector relationships, and just staying strategically involved. We hope that these are just a few things that you take away from your ALAS experience. Now, fortunately, the appetite for arts advocacy in the West and nationally is growing. In recent years, Western lawmakers have been at the forefront of advancing cultural policy at the federal level. In fact, some of the most prominent pieces of federal legislation related to arts and culture are sponsored by Western lawmakers, some of whom you'll hear from in just a moment. And the relevance of federal advocacy is certainly not lost on us at WESTAF. In 2023, we're planning to bring back an in-person advocacy day in Washington, D.C. to connect Western arts advocates with their lawmakers on the Hill to continue developing regional and national efforts. And while we wait for 2023 to meet in person, it is with great pleasure that I introduce 3 Western members of Congress who have been actively supporting arts and culture. They're Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici of Oregon, and Congresswoman Judy Chu of California. And they've joined us today to share some remarks about their work in Congress. And with that, I give the floor to them.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank everyone for attending today's seminar and the Western States Art Federation for organizing it. The stories that artists tell empower different cultures, expand our worldview, and enrich our lives. By promoting the arts, you help to make this possible. And we're working in the Senate to make it easier for you to do so. My CREATE Act would give more planning grants to art agencies and nonprofits and make creative workers eligible for small business loans. And my PLACE Act would invest in the creative workforce to help artists hone their skills and find good jobs. Supporting the creative industry strengthens our economy, but that's not the main thing. We shouldn't support the arts just because they make money. We should support the arts because they're an important part of telling our story. So thank you very much for the work you do, and enjoy your conference. Aloha.
Hello, I'm Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici from Oregon, and I'm glad to be able to celebrate with you, albeit virtually. The arts have always been an important part of my life. My mom taught and played the piano, painted, and took my brothers and me to museums. I learned at an early age the important role that arts play in our society. The arts help us better understand different communities and cultures. The arts enrich people, inspire creativity, and transform communities. I came to Congress in large part because of my passion for improving public education for all students, and I'm honored to serve on the Education and Labor Committee. When my own children were going through public schools, I saw firsthand the importance of arts education, but I also saw how often the arts are either left out or the first to be eliminated when budgets are cut. Dance, visual arts, film, music, theater, they're all fundamental parts of a well-rounded education. Students are more engaged in the classroom when creative outlets are included in instruction. And importantly, arts education helps to better prepare students to become the creative critical thinkers we need for the future. My Arts Education for All Act is comprehensive legislation that supports arts education across multiple federal programs. This is a fundamental matter of equity. At its core, the focus of my legislation is making sure that everyone has access to the arts, not just those who have artistic families or the resources to afford to purchase access. With the challenges of the last few years, and there have been many, the arts are more important than ever. I've seen the arts connect people, provide a way to help people cope, and bring joy, something we need more of. And as we move forward, building back better, it is critical that we see arts and culture investments as an essential part of our economic recovery. This means investing in the arts and creative industries. They've done so much to boost our economy and doing all we can to help the industry get through the challenges of the pandemic. I envision a better future where everyone can enrich their lives through the arts. We will move forward together toward that better future with your help and advocacy. So thank you for the work you do, and thank you again for inviting me to help kick off this year's Arts Leadership and Advocacy Seminar.
Hello, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I'm so glad to be speaking to the Western States Arts Federation today for your Arts Leadership and Advocacy Seminar. The arts and culture economy needs strong advocates, particularly after the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is why WestAF's advocacy, capacity building, and networking is so important for our region's creative economy. And I'm proud to be doing my part to support arts and culture from my position in Congress. That starts in our schools, where arts education is proven to make long-term positive impacts on a child's academic, social, and emotional success. That is why I am proud to support legislation like H.R. 5581, the Arts Education for All Act, to bring arts programming to more K-12 schools, and why I strongly support funding for the National Endowment for the Arts. These investments enrich our culture, and we can see the results every time we watch a movie or a new TV show, visit an art museum, see a live performance or concert, and even pass a new mural in the street. And these moments are made possible by the millions of artists and workers in the creative economy. That's why I founded the Bipartisan Creative Rights Caucus nearly 10 years ago, ensuring that creators and their works are protected so that they can earn a living and do what they love. I'm so proud that our caucus is continuing its bipartisan work with our new co-chair, Representative Drew Ferguson of Georgia. And as a member of the Ways and Means Committee, I'm working to ensure that our tax code supports creative workers through my bill, H.R. 4750, the Performing Artists Tax Parity Act. This bipartisan legislation would make long overdue updates to the qualified performing artist tax deduction so that performing artists who sometimes spend as much as 30% of their gross income on work-related expenses can deduct those expenses and keep more hard-earned money in their pockets. So thank you again for inviting me to speak to you today, and I want to extend my gratitude to WestF and to all the participants in this seminar for the work you're doing to support arts, culture, and the creative economy. I look forward to continuing our work together to make a difference here in Congress.
Thanks, Tamara, Christian, Senator Schatz, Congresswoman Bonamici, and Congresswoman Chu for your warm welcome and remarks. My name is David Holland, and I'm the Deputy Director of WestF. As I bring this welcome to a close, I wanted to extend my gratitude to you, our guests. We so appreciate you taking time to participate in these conversations over the next 2 days. We hope that you find this experience informative, awareness raising, and boundary stretching, and that you leave with some action steps you can take to effectively advocate for the advancement of the arts in the West and nationally. The 6 sessions in our 2-day program focus on federal arts policy, policy for creative workers, advocacy trends outside of the arts, Western regional policy trends and agendas, arts advocacy across the political spectrum, and policymaking for creative workers. You'll hear many themes expressed, particularly the power of coalitions and the power of messaging. We hope you'll see how local, state, regional, and national policymaking interacts and learn about ways policymaking can support more just and equitable systems. After the last few years, it might seem unimaginable to maintain the pace of momentum in arts advocacy. But now is exactly the right time to continue asking, what more can we do to work towards a more just, equitable, and sustainable future for our field and our society? I would like to thank my colleagues at WestF for their support, particularly Leah Horn, Samantha Ortega, Natalie Sherlong, Justine Chappell, Cynthia Chen, and Moana Palele Ho-Chang, who have been such strong partners in organizing this seminar. I would also like to thank our institutional partners and moderators, Nejim Lee from the League of American Orchestras, Julie Baker from Californians for the Arts, Althea Erickson from Russell Lab at the Center for Cultural Innovation, and Manny Kowaling from Inspire Washington, and all 23 panelists for their time, curiosity, generosity, and bravery. Again, welcome all, and please enjoy.